Out of bounds by Maurice Douglas after a turn of 35, and the Cowboys will take over from there with Reggie Collier at quarterback. His first NFL start, and the defense that he faces is awesome. Hampton, McMichael, William Perry, and Richard Dent up front. The linebackers, none better. Wilson, Singletary in the middle, and Wilbur Marshall. And the secondary, Richardson and the rookie Vesti Jackson, the cornerbacks, Dorsett and Finsick. And the Bears show them 8 up front in a hurry. Tony Hill wide left. Sherrard is the flanker, and now Sherrard is the man in motion. Reggie Collier to Tony Dorsett. Back to the line of scrimmage. No game. Steve McMichael. A Pro Bowl year for him. Here's the Dallas offense then. Collier the quarterback. Dorsett and Walker together. Tony Hill and Mike Sherrard the wide receivers. In front, Mark Tuinei at left tackle. Titans are next to him. Rafferty the center. Kerr and Posderick on the right side, and Doug Cosby the tight end. Hill wide left. Sherrard up top. Now he moves backwards. Walker and Dorsett behind Collier. This is Walker. A yard behind the line of scrimmage. Nothing there. Richard Dent, the first man to hit him.
I'll tell you, they've run 2 plays, and they ran right at the fridge both times. They've weighed him this week. Every time they've weighed him, number 72, he weighed over 350 pounds. There's no way Titanosaur is going to get any movement on him, and there's no way the back gets any more movement when he runs into him.
That's frightening.
How'd you like to say, well, get up there, break the huddle, and you got to block this guy right here, and we're going to run right in behind you. You have to move him backwards.
Newsom now comes into the Dallas backfield, and Collier goes back in the shotgun. Remember, he can really run. And will. Chased by Dorsett and taken down by Dorsett after a gain of 6, shy of the first down, and Saxon will come on.
Reggie Collier said yesterday, I don't go back thinking run. He said, I'm going to look for the first receiver, then the second receiver, and if by that time I don't see him, then I'm going to take off.
Saxon, that's the book on him for this year. And Lou Barnes, dangerous, back for the Bears, number 81. Watching Saxon in practice, he didn't kick a ball for less than 55 yards. He was really in top-flight form. Well, he has now. Barnes at the 21. Down quickly. Victor Scott, just activated, was the first man down. Sorry. But Victor had broken his hand in a game earlier against Denver, and he didn't appear on the roster. But that's who was there. 38-yard punt, no return. First down, Bears. Flutie, the quarterback. Gault wide right. Walter Payton left side fumble. Dallas has it. Rod Fellows.
You know, last night talking to Mike Ditka, he says 2 things we have to eliminate going into these playoffs are our turnovers and penalties. He said in the last part of the season, he said we've had way too many of those. He said I'd like to go into those games, to this game today, and come out with no turnovers and very few penalties.
Payton was hit by Bates. He's shaken up just a bit. Fellows did come up with the recovery. And Walter Payton helped to the sidelines. One of the few times you'll ever see that.
Well, you know, they had the same problem on Monday night against the Lions. They were coming off the goal line, and Payton had a fumble there.
Dallas has it, 1st and 10 at the Chicago 26. No score yet. Fred Wyant is the referee.
Wonder if they're checking the replay on this. I think they must be, whether it was down or knee was down or ground caused a fumble or whatever.
It looked as if the ball flew out while Payton was still upright. Payton leaving for the locker room. Perhaps for x-rays, perhaps for medical attention. The call stands. It is 1st and 10 Cowboys at the Bear 27. With pressure from Otis Wilson, and everybody else throws it away in the direction of Walker. But they got no one blocked. It was Hampton and Otis Wilson chasing Reggie Collier.
You know, it's a funny thing, Pat, that the Pro Bowl came out. The Bears have 7 players on the Pro Bowl this year, but those guys that just made that play, Otis Wilson and Dan Hampton, were 2 of the players that weren't on the Pro Bowl. And I've always felt that they're 2 of the best defensive players in the league.
It would be hard to leave them off any all-pro team, both of them.
I think when Otis Wilson blitzes, he's as good as any other linebacker, maybe than Lawrence Taylor.
2nd and 10. Cowboys operating from the Bear 27. Bears change their defense. Walker started in motion. Dent jumped offside. He points now at Walker, but I think Walker's okay with his movement. Dent is not.
Well, Walker can go in motion as long as he doesn't go forward.
Obviously, we're having trouble with the transmission from the referee.
You know, Herschel Walker's the up back here. Now, you see, he starts forward, then he goes laterally. I'm not sure about that one.
The Bears selected to the Pro Bowl this year: Payton, Singletary, Covert, Dorsett, Hilgenberg, Marshall, and Steve McMichael. But you could almost pick them all on that defensive unit.
Yeah, I mean, you always tend to, defend the guys that didn't get there, but that's true in any all-pro team.
2nd and 5. Misplay. Collier dropped on it. He missed the handoff. Out of the pack comes Otis Wilson. Now they're saying Collier didn't get it, and the Bears do have it. And I'm still not sure.
I think that's the Bears' ball, Pat. They recovered the fumble. The fans are booing, but I didn't see the official point that it was the Bears' ball.
Collier missed the handoff, then dropped on it, but apparently didn't recover it cleanly.
There was going to be a handoff to Herschel Walker. The ball hit him on the hip. Collier went down to get it, but look, you can see right there, it was Otis Wilson, the guy who ended up with it. And then he fumbled it. But they called it dead there where Otis Wilson had contact.
Bears ball, 1st and 10. Flutie back to throw. As time goes deep, looking for Ortega. Incomplete, out of bounds. Everson Walls right with him.
You know, one thing you always talk about Doug Flutie's size, mostly about his height, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a strong arm. Doug Flutie does have a strong arm.
Flutie with his first NFL start. Collier with his. Flutie with the plays taped to his left arm, some of them at least. Like to welcome those of you who watched the Redskins come from behind to beat the Eagles to Texas Stadium, where the score here is 0-0. Pat Summerall, John Madden. Doug Flutie is the quarterback on 2nd down. He's going to throw a screen to Sanders. Sanders cut down and he fumbles. Cowboys grabbing and wrestling, can't come up with it. The ball's still loose, and the Cowboys ultimately do come up with it. Ron Fellows again. Hegman made the hit that knocked it loose.
Jay Hilgenberg is in it there with Jeff Rohr. Hilgenberg had Rohr by the face mask with his broken left hand. Hilgenberg was in position to recover that fumble, but he has a broken hand and a cast on his left hand. He couldn't get it. Watch it right at the end here. See the fumble out of the Cowboys there. Now watch 63, Hilgenberg come in. He got the cast on his hand. He couldn't pick it up. So the Cowboys come up with it on the 20-yard line. And Hilgenberg gets in a fight with the casted hand.
He's got the good hand loose so he can swing if he needs to.
Yeah, they both had a hold of each other's face mask. Like hook against hook.
Reggie Collier back to throw up into the pocket, and off he goes. Collier has the ball stripped away from him, and it looks like the Bears have it back. Oh, this Wilson in the middle of that.
This is an unbelievable start to a fumble ball. Well, I'll tell you, that frustrates both coaches. We're going for a record here, I think, in the early part of the game. I mean, one team gets it, fumbles, the other team gets it, fumbles it back. Other guys get it, they fumble. Ball stripped, guys with cast. Bunch of them. There's one strip that doesn't get him. Singletary's coming from behind, Dorsett in front. And, of course, the strip was Dan Hampton, big 99. I'll tell you, that guy makes a lot of big plays.
Hampton.
Sure does. He's all over the place. Good pass rusher, strong against the run, and a good stripper.
That's good to know. 1st and 10. The Bears now with the ball at their own 16. And Flutie gives back to Sanders. And Sanders maybe got 2. That'll bring up a 2nd and 8. Flutie gazing over to the sideline, getting the signals from Tomczak.
Isn't this something bad? We haven't even played 4 minutes yet. We've had 4 turnovers.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a fumble per minute. If it keeps going, that we'll have like 60 fumbles.
That, I think, would be an unofficial record.
That is. It's going on. The record it's in danger.
Neil Anderson and Matt Suey are the 2 runners behind Flutie. Those of you who just joined us, St. Louis beat Tampa Bay 21-17. That means the Buccaneers will get the first-round draft when it comes up next spring, and, of course, that all points to Vinny Testaverde.
Yeah, and last year it pointed to
Bo Jackson.
And he ended up playing baseball, so I don't think that means that much.
Long year for St. Louis and for Tampa Bay. Luke Barnes in the game, split down at the bottom of your picture. Cowboys showing blitz. They're going after Flutie. Bates coming, and Flutie just fires to the green. Right now for an NFL update. Back to New York, here is Brent Busberger.
All right, Pat, the playoff situation clarified in the AFC. Kansas City is in the playoffs. 3 special teams touchdowns, including this 97-yard kickoff return against Pittsburgh. There is 1 spot now open. It'll be either Cincinnati or New England, depending on tomorrow night. Back to Pat Summerall.
It is 0-0 at Texas Stadium. The Bears punting. Back deep, Gordon banks. A flag goes down, an illegal block in the back or above the waist or whatever is usually called. 52-yard punt by Buford.
And it's going to be on Neil Anderson or against him. They blocked him in the back. Mike Ditka said he thinks he's the best special teams player in the league this year. Always the first guy down. He was the first guy down, and they did this to him. He starts out on the right side. Now watch him. Here he is. He's the first guy down. Now watch him right there. He got it right there, that little push in the back.
Manny Hendricks, number 45, in the back. Mike Ditka and the Bear organization really upset that, of course, as you were saying before, John, that Neil Anderson was not one of those picked for the Pro Bowl as a special team specialist, because he's been spectacular. He's really been something.
He says not only the plays he's made, but it's the kind of thing where he fires up the rest of the guys, too.
Tony Hill split wide to the left. It is Reggie Collier at quarterback for the Cowboys. He goes back to throw, and Kenny's chase, screen pass outside Dorsett with room. Dorsett up for a first down out of bounds at about the Bear 44, knocked out of bounds by Singletary and Bestie Jackson.
I think Tony Dorsett is probably the best back that ever ran a screen pass in football. in the history of the game, I can see him running this screen to the left more, where he just gets out there, lets his lineman get out in front of him, gets that dump over, and then hits that thing in the open field. Tony Dorsett's been doing that for 10 years for this team, and I don't think anyone has ever done it better.
I think the statistics kept over the years on that, the screen pass, would certainly back up what you say. First down, Dallas. Their own 43. No scores yet. Gerard in motion. That's Herschel Walker. There's a penalty marker down on the right side of the field already. Steve McMichael tripped him up. No gain. Walter Payton coming back on the field. The other number 34. Sweetness. Singletary, you probably saw him telling Freddie Wyant, we want to refuse that, and they do. Second down.
I wonder if his mic doesn't work or if he's just forgetting to turn it on.
I don't know. Surely not after 16 weeks. Cleveland 47, San Diego 17. The Browns will have the home field advantage throughout the playoffs, as long as they continue to win. Second and 10. 8 men up front again for the Bears. Collier back to throw, and again a penalty marker down. Intended Walker, picked off by Wilbur Marshall. Marshall tackled by Cosby, but a flag is down. We'll have to wait.
I'll tell you, there's the guy. Don Shula told me in the offseason, and he thinks Wilbur Marshall was the most valuable player of last year's Bear defense. He said he can do so many things. He said he can play the run. He said he can rush the passer. And he said he can cover guys like wide receivers and tight end, man-to-man from the line of scrimmage.
Plus, he's got some explosion when he hits you.
He can uncoil like no one I've ever seen. But on that play there, I mean, he was man-to-man with Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker, of course, being one of the fastest guys in the league.
They played against each other many times when Wilbur was at Florida and Herschel was at Georgia. Suey and Sanders behind Flutie. Reitman in motion. Flutie, reverse coming to Willie Gault. Of course, he's got that great speed, and Gault down into Dallas territory, down to the 41, a gain of 12. For an NFL update, let's again go to Brent Busberger in New York.
Pat, more on that AFC playoff picture. Cincinnati buries the Jets today. Boomer Esiason, 5 touchdown passes. The Bengals will be in the playoffs if Miami beats New England. If not, and New England wins, they will go in. Seattle was knocked out this afternoon. Back to Pat.
And as time passes, the playoff picture becomes a little bit clearer. Brent just told you about those possibilities. Reitman again in motion. Flutie gives to Suey. Ducked underneath Randy White and picked up 4. Jeff Rohr made the stop. No score in a game so far that's been nothing but turnovers.
You know, it's interesting, Pat, that last week Doug Flutie was saying he had trouble with the signal. So after a while, he asked him, please send the plays in. Now, today I noticed that after a play, he's walking over to the bench and getting the play firsthand.
There's the list of plays on his wrist. Handoff Sanders, left side. Not much doing. A gain of 2 again. Walter Payton, by the way, Randy White made this. Now, Walter Payton back on the sideline, has a bruised shoulder and should be able to return. Flutie checking with the sideline again.
Well, that's what he's doing. See, instead of getting that signal all the way, he's walking over closer to the sideline in case he has a question. Then he has the plays on the wrist. So he has all these ways to communicate. He said that's the toughest thing that he's having is getting the plays and getting them called.
3rd and 5. Flutie out of the shotgun. Flag down. Cowboys offside. Dennis Gentry gets the first down for the Bears down to the Cowboy 27-yard line. Michael Downs knocked him out of bounds. A gain of 10. They'll probably keep the play and forget the penalty. Against Dallas. declined. Nothing but turnovers so far. Total plays, Chicago 10, 2 turnovers. Dallas 9 plays, 3 turnovers, 5 already.
And then we've had penalties, and the referee's mic doesn't work. This is really a sloppy first quarter. Stuff's not working good.
That's Flutie back to throw. This time he does have time. He overthrows Willie Gault. Ball really took off as he rolled left. Like he tried to take something off the throw, and it started to float.
Yeah, I tell you, he is an impressive guy, though. You know, I mean, he has something Mike Ditka talks about. So you don't know what it is. I mean, that winning attitude, the charisma, the leadership. I mean, it's hard to really put a definition on it, but this guy has it. And, you know, last night we were talking to him, when he came in the room, you kind of get that feeling that, I mean, it's kind of like Santa Claus or someone, the Easter Bunny. You just kind of like him.
One of those guys you want to sit next to.
Yeah, right.
Reitman went in motion. Flutie fire. Reitman is the man at about the 1. Downs finally took him out of bounds, but it'll be first and goal Bears at the Cowboy 1.
But I think that's the thing Mike Ditka likes about Flutie. We see Reitman here go in motion. Now, Flutie had to buy a little time on this. You see Reitman is coming down, going out. Flutie's scrambling now. Reitman keeps working to the outside. That much just finds an opening in there. And Flutie, in scrambling, bought the time that he could get it to Reitman.
It is first and goal at the 1 for the Bears. The Super Bowl champions trying to improve their record to 14-2, and Payton is back in the game and deep. This could be a record-tying touchdown. He doesn't make it. Jeff Rohr, number 50, was the first man to hit him. An assist to Ed Jones, number 72.
One thing, we don't see the refrigerator up there anymore. Remember, this is a situation where last year the fridge would come in and block for Walter Payton. Now he doesn't even get next to Ditka. He's kind of in the back there. See, he knows it's a weight thing. And he knows his weight this year, instead of going down, has gone up during the season. So he doesn't even stand there. He knows he's not going in there.
Second and goal at the 1. Payton and Suey. Behind Blue. Payton again. Touchdown. That's the final score. Minnesota beat New Orleans 33-17. 2 first-year coaches. Both of them finishing, I think, on an upbeat frame of mind. Welcome to Texas Stadium, where Walter Payton has just scored. The Bears lead the Cowboys 6-0 with 6:05 left in the first quarter. That's that record-tying touchdown I talked about a minute ago. That ties Jim Brown's all-time NFL touchdown record. Kevin Butler to try the extra point. Steve Fuller holding. 7-0 Chicago. 6:05 left to play in the first quarter. Payton got the touchdown. A first quarter that has been nothing but turnovers and breaks and fumbles and penalties. 6:05 remaining. It is 7-0 at Texas Stadium. The Bears lead the Cowboys. 8 plays. They went 53 yards. They kept it 3 minutes, 8 seconds. And Walter Payton scored on a 1-yard touchdown run. The Bears 7, Dallas 0. Kevin Butler set to kick off. Deep for Dallas, Robert Levette and Darryl Clack. There's Walter Payton. What a great man and what a great career.
I tell you, and you wonder, you know, I mean, the amazing thing about it is not only what he accomplished, but he's been there every week. The guy is indestructible.
It's going to be Levette at the 5. Chase and down. Sean Gault, number 23, after a return of 12.
You know, the big play on this drive is this one, Pat, where you see Flutie's going to go back and hit Tim Reitman. But the big thing that he does is when he gets back here, he stops. Then he makes a little move, and that let Reitman get open down here. Now, he bought the time, Now watch, we see the motion come across. Now, right here, he's not open. Now he steps up a couple more things, and here's Reitman down here in the bottom, wide open, and that got the ball down to the 1-yard line.
And Payton took it in from there. Reggie Collier back for Dallas. Gets it outside Sherrard, and Sherrard enough for a first down in front of Vesti Jackson. Another of the bright and upcoming stars, number 86.
Well, there's a rookie versus a rookie. Vesti Jackson being a rookie. See, he slipped a little, and Sherrard gave him a good move and then just came back with a hook.
Gain of 14, Mike Sherrard. Boy, they have high hopes for him.
Well, he's one of, the Cowboys on offense added a lot of speed to their team. This is one guy, and of course, Herschel Walker being the other guy.
Walker is the guy split wide to the right this time. Newsom and Dorsett are in the backfield. The handoff is to Dorsett. Got a couple of blocks and got good yardage. Steve McMichael tripped him up after a gain of 7. Herschel Walker got the key block out front.
You see one guy that's always in on those Bear tackles is Gary Fensick. I think that's one of the things that makes this Bear defense so good is they have the 3 linebackers that are good linebackers. Then they have 2 safeties, Gary Fensick and Dave Duerson, that give them like 2 more linebackers. In fact, they call them mini linebackers.
But they can still cover the receiver.
I tell you, and they just get all over the field. You know, they'll get up there in the middle. Fensick's coming up right now. They'll get right up there and get in that 0-1 hole right over the center.
That 8 men up front look 3 deep. Collier took too long, and the flags come flying.
Cross start, 75.
Bill Pozderick is number 75 as the referee's mic is starting to work.
Look at it right here. Here's Gary Fensick here. They bring their safeties up, and he plays right here in the middle like a middle linebacker. So they have a linebacker here, linebacker here, regular linebackers, plus this guy. So they play an 8-man front. That's what they talk about. There's 8 guys up there, and that's tough to run against.
And the way it's been the last couple of years, it's tough to do anything against.
Remember last year, we did 5 Bear games, and we never saw a touchdown scored against them.
Saunders picked out to Dorsett behind him. Nevertheless, they get 5 yards out of it before Fensick trips up number 33.
You see the fridge running down there. The ball was a little behind Dorsett, and then behind the ball was the fridge running right down the line of scrimmage. Dorsett was going to cut back, and he made a look there, and he went. Watch him. Here's 72. Watch him coming down the line. Now watch Dorsett look in there. He was going to cut to the inside there. He said, I better get by that 72 first. Then he made the cut.
Probably thought that was a thunderstorm.
An avalanche is coming. Well, they called Dorsett Hawkeye.
Short yardage, 3rd down 2. They give the ball to Walker. And he will not get the first down. Richard Dent shut it off.
Hey, I don't know where they're going to spot this one, but it didn't look like he had the first down. Going to be 4th down. Cowboys won't go for it here this early in the game. This thing, they're going to run into the top of the screen there. You know, everyone's a little too high. You see that Cowboy line? See 75 come flying out of there? They're too high. You can't, the offensive line can't play short yardage high. You have to get lower than the defense. That time, the Bear defense whipped the Cowboy offense right on the line of scrimmage.
Saxon's punt is a dandy. Lou Barnes back deep. He's going to let it roll, and it takes a Cowboy bounce. And they pick it up. Do the Bears. Lou Barnes, after he let it go over his head, came out of there with it. The Cowboys thought they would down it. Guard Jacks finally knocked him down, but he got the Bears out of a very deep hole. A 52-yard punt by Saxon, a 22-yard return, so they only net 30. The 39th bowl appearance for Alabama, more than any other team. Payton back in the backfield with Calvin Thomas this time. Bears leading 7-0. Ortego in motion. Flutie back to throw. Up into the pocket. Deep for Ortego. Covered by Everson Walls and covered well.
I'll tell you, Flutie looks calm, though, doesn't he?
He does.
You know, he's coming over. You see, he's walking over to get a closer look at those signals again. Now he looks at his left wrist. See, he has all the plays written down there. Now he's checking them again. See, now he's going to get in the huddle and call the play right off the wrist. Instead out of the head, you call it off the wrist. He's reading it, as a matter of fact.
Years ago, I remember Tom Matty when he was forced to play quarterback for the Baltimore Colts, doing that against Green Bay. He was very effective. 2nd and 10. Flutie jumps underneath Ed Jones. Chased by Kevin Brooks. Knocked out of bounds by Jim Jeffcoat. First sack of Flutie.
Well, he made Too Tall miss. Watch the first guy here. Watch Too Tall. Well, he's already by him. But he faked him out. But he couldn't get away. He couldn't find anyone open downfield. Watch what happens to Too Tall's always been tough to throw over. You know, watch him. He jumps up in the air. Flutie puts it up, brings it back down, then gets out to the right side. Of course, he couldn't get away from Kevin Brooks, who just tapped him out of bounds.
That'll bring up a 3rd and 17. Ball at the Bear 26. Flutie chased again. Out of the pocket again. Got away from Randy White, but cut down by John Smirek.
You know, one thing I felt watching the Bears Monday night against Detroit is that they got away from their run for some reason. And I have the same feeling now. They got that drive. They have the best running team in the NFL and the best defense. And those two things can win it for them. And I thought last week that maybe they went to the pass a little too much.
Buford back to punt. Hanks back deep for the Cowboys. He should have a chance with this one. Not much of a chance. Reggie Phillips was there as soon as he made the catch. Cowboys looked as if they had some blockers back there, but nothing worked out, and it's 7-0 Bears. The defending champion Super Bowl winners, the Chicago Bears, 7-0 over Dallas. Cowboys have it 1st and 10 at their own 39. A minute 16 left to play in the first quarter. Dorsett and Walker behind Reggie Collier. Outside Sherrard, no blockers. He gets up to the 45, 44, call it out of bounds there by Vesty Jackson, trying to set up the wide receiver screen, and the blockers just couldn't get out there in time.
And they were trying to get their left guard, Titensor and Rafferty, out. Looked like a bad play all the way. They're trying to get their left guard and center out, but it also looked like the ball was deflected. In fact, right there, you see it goes right through Dent's hand. So Sherrard still gets it. There comes Titensor. He finally gets a block, but Rafferty didn't get out there. 2nd and 4 then. Sherrard split wide to the right. Tony Hill to the left. Bears look like they're coming with a bunch. Collier firing deep. Incomplete to Sherrard. This guy is a heck of an athlete. The Raiders lead the Colts 10-3 in the first quarter. Well, you know, when he went to college, Southern Mississippi, he said when he came out of there, he wanted everyone to know he's a quarterback. He runs the 40 and 4.5. That's like backs and receivers and defensive backs. But he said, I'm not a receiver. I'm not a defensive back. I'm a quarterback. He went to the USFL because they guaranteed him he'd be quarterback. And he finally came here to Dallas after that went down, and they also told him that he would be a quarterback here. Although he's the 3rd quarterback, and that's a tough, tough position.
Frustrating. 3rd down. And 4 at the 45. Back he goes. Away from everybody, and down he goes. Chased by Wilbur Marshall and William Perry. Otis Wilson.
I'll tell you, Otis Wilson made a great play there. I mean, you talk about big and agile. Watch this guy. He gets him, misses him, spins around. Watch him right there. Watch him. He gets him, spins around. He gets out of it. Watch. He just did a spin. Then he got right up and got him again.
And his buddy Wilbur Marshall was there to help out.
But for a guy that weighs 232 pounds that can do that, I mean, get in a spin and then get down and spin off the ground and then spin back up and make a tackle, that's a pretty good play.
Saxon back to punt. Barnes back deep. Good punt by Saxon. Barnes will take it at his own 32. Away from one. It's got a wall. Cut down. Todd Fowler made the hit that brought Barnes down when it looked like he had something set up. 43-yard punt. A return of 8. And it's still 7-0 Bears. That shot of Texas Stadium, the house with the hole in the roof, from the slice blimp. Piloted by John Robinson.
No. John Robinson?
Right.
He was coaching Friday in San Francisco, and now he's blimping on
Versatile.
Sunday?
Versatile.
Nah.
Walter Payton is the lone setback behind Doug Flutie. The Bears go with 3 wide receivers, one of whom is Neil Anderson. With he in motion and Payton the ball carrier for 3. Hegman on the stop.
Yeah, we were talking earlier, there's kind of been a sloppy first quarter. Let's look what's happened here. There's been 4 fumbles, 1 interception, so that's 5 turnovers. There's been 3 penalties accepted and 3 more that weren't, so that's 6 penalties and 5 turnovers in 1 quarter of football.
That gets us to the end of 1 quarter of football, and the score is the Bears 7. The Dallas Cowboys nothing. The Bears. As we begin the second quarter, the Bears lead the Cowboys 7-0, and they take over from their own 42. 2nd and 8 it is. Neil Anderson and Dennis Gentry. That's Anderson moving, and Flutie backpedaling. For Anderson, touchdown. Chased by Bates. Flutie got it there. If you don't believe he's got a good arm, check this one out again.
Those are 2 guys that are going to loom big in this Bear offense. One is Anderson. Watch him. He's out there. He's out there. Starts in motion. Now he's just going to run straight up the field, right past Bill Bates. He has great speed, much faster than Bates, as you can see, and Flutie hit it right out there in front of him.
And watch Flutie.
He's running down there faster than Bates was covering Anderson.
He's got good speed, too.
That's a good wing.
Butler for the extra point with Fuller holding to make it 14-6. Flutie headed back to the sideline, and look at Mike Ditka.
That's the other side of Ditka. A little hug. And the head turned away. Let's watch the play again. This is different. Look, they have 2 wide receivers out here. This is Anderson. He's going to start in motion here, come up, get man-to-man on Bates, run right by him. Flutie sees it all the way and gets a touchdown. See, they start out there in a tandem, like an I formation. Here comes Anderson. There comes Bates. There goes Anderson. There stays Bates. There's the football. Whoa!
Flutie threw that ball from his own 34. Anderson caught it at the 10. So the strength of his arm should no longer be in question.
Strength is not one of his weaknesses.
I like that.
There's a guy who has a weak one now, but has been the heart of this team, the Chicago Bear team last year, and of course led them to the Super Bowl. And I've always felt that the league needs more Jim McMahon. Of course, he had the surgery this week in Los Angeles. He flew in for the game today. He's going to fly back to Los Angeles, start his rehabilitation.
That surgery, John, much more serious, I think, than even he thought or anyone thought. There are more things wrong than they knew about.
Well, they said that they had to tighten it up. They had to tighten up the joint. And he won't be able to really throw for 6 months. Now, of course, we hope to hear from him personally at halftime. We have word that he may come up here in the booth
right
at halftime. And we'll have some food here for him. He can eat a little, and we'll see what he has to say.
He needs a one-arm sandwich. And Neil Anderson, who just scored the touchdown on the kickoff team and one of the very best, if not the, on special teams. He just scored his first NFL touchdown. This is Robert Levette at the 4. Not much room. Sean Gault made the stop, but penalty markers are down back at midfield. Next week, of course, the playoffs start. The wild card game, we don't have a time yet, but the Rams will be at RFK Stadium to face the Redskins. So just check your local listings for the time that begins.
I know one thing. I know Joe Gibbs has to be happy that his team came back today. Remember, we had him last week against Denver. After he lost to the Giants, he wanted to get back on that track going into the playoffs. He didn't against Denver, and he was down 14-0 today to Philadelphia, and they came back and win that one.
Ernie Stutner over on the sideline talking to two of his longtime defensive line outstanding members, Randy White and Ed Jones. Now that the Buccaneers have lost and did to St. Louis today, that'll be the drafting order next spring. The Bucs get the first choice. Indianapolis would be next. Green Bay, San Diego, and then St. Louis. And everyone assumes that number 1 choice will be Vinny Testaverde. That's Dorsett skipping out to about the 30, picked up 3 yards. William Perry with Dorsett in his arms.
It has to be a disappointing year for the Cowboys, that are so used to winning, so used to going to playoffs, that when it gets around Christmas time, you're always thinking, well, we got the playoffs next week or the week after, and here, this is the last game, and it's all over, and they all go home.
And Steve Pallure is now in at quarterback, 2nd and 7. Pallure back to throw. Outside to Walker. Walker steps out of bounds at about the 35, a pickup of 5, and they still need a couple for a first.
There's Mike Singletary. He's the middle linebacker of this Bear defense, and he's also, the team captain. I mean, he's the guy that makes the play. See him? He looks, he calls, he adjusts. After he gets the adjustment, he looks, what else I got here? Look forward. There they go out there. That's how a middle linebacker reads. He has to do all that talking before the thing. Then he reads, then he runs.
I would say he looked ready. On 3rd down. Pallure back to throw, has time, batted away by Richard Dent. Incomplete, and the Cowboys again will have to punt.
I think this is the thing that Tom Landry did have planned. Reggie Collier was going to start. We can see he's talking there to Danny White. Then he was going to bring in Steve Pallure. Then he'll probably bring Collier back and Pallure. He wanted to divide this game between those 2 quarterbacks.
Saxon back to punt to Lou Barnes. Good kick again by Saxon. Barnes at his own 16. Gets away from the first Cowboy down and is knocked out of bounds by Jesse Penn. So with 13:45 left to play in the first half, the Bears lead the Cowboys 14-0. It's been a long time since they scored against Chicago. Texas Stadium, the home of the Cowboys, Irving, Texas, where the Bears lead 14-0. With 13:45 left to play in the first half. 5 turnovers. Payton scored on a 1-yard run. And Flutie hit Neil Anderson with a 58-yard touchdown pass. That's the way it is. Flutie back to throw again. Going for Gault. Intercepted by Fellows. Gault looked one way, Fellows looked the other way, and Fellows came down with it.
I think that was one thing the Bears wanted to do, is work on Fellows. They've had other teams have had some success against Fellows lately, but not on this one. When the ball was just thrown short. I don't know, had he gotten that one out in front of Gault, it would have been an interesting play. They wouldn't see why he didn't get everything into it. There's Gault coming. You see, and he had a duck. He didn't get a chance to really step and follow through.
Like he usually does.
Right, and I think just that rush of Jim Gault was enough to cause the interception.
Both teams with 3 turnovers. Dorsett is the lone setback. Fuller outside the rim throw. Complete. 4-6. Bestie Jackson, the defender.
I think that was one of the things that I'm surprised the Bears really aren't going to the run a little more. That they're number 1, as we talked about, in run offense, and that Cowboy defense is 23rd against the run. So you'd look at a statistical matchup, you'd think that would be a pretty good one.
2nd and 4. Walker back in now. In front of Dorsett, and now they shift the split backs. Walker. Hammered by Dorsett. Dorsett had a chance to really unload on Herschel Walker, but didn't.
Yeah, I think Otis Wilson was supposed to be on a man-to-man, and he got caught up with a wide receiver. Watching the left-hand side of the screen, you don't see it there. He goes out of there. See, Wilson is behind him. There's Dorsett in front of him, and all Dorsett wanted to do is, you said he just pulled up. All he wanted to do is knock him out of bounds.
At the 40, after a gain of 17, 1st and 10 Cowboys. Renfro split wide to the right. Set in motion as Fuller goes back to throw under pressure and has to just get rid of it. Cosby, I believe, was the intended receiver. He was well covered, and Fuller, under pressure from Dent, just had to unload.
Crawford Kerr was going at it with Mike Singletary there. The ball was in the air, and Kerr was blocking Singletary. I think it was supposed to be some kind of screen pass in the middle.
That's where he was looking.
Yeah, I think he had Walker. I think he had Herschel Walker in there because the middle of the line went downfield, and he just threw it over.
Walker splits out wide to the right this time. Otis Wilson comes out with him. Third back to throw. Pass is picked off by Bestie Jackson. Intended for Mike Sherrard. The fans really jump on Fuller. That's the Dallas Cowboys' 4th turnover.
Watch Bestie Jackson here. He gets a hand here. Now watch him get the jump. He's staying underneath him. So he rides him up, then he rides him to the inside and rides him right into the interception.
It was Tony Hill, the intended receiver.
I was going to save it.
Here's the interception again. Here's Bestie Jackson out here. Tony Hill comes off the line. Now Jackson can hit him and play underneath him as he goes in the end because he has a safety in here behind him. So he can play short and underneath. And that's why he gets the interception. See, he's inside. Now he runs underneath him. The reason he can be underneath is because of the safety behind him deep.
We come back with Gentry in motion and Payton the ball carrier. Caught from behind as he looked upfield by Mike Ditka.
Well, that makes them close to even now. They've had 10 rushes and 11 passes, and you would think that eventually they're going to run the ball more than pass it. I think when you have, guys like Walter Payton, Matt Suey, and then you got Calvin Thomas, Thomas Sanders, the rookie Neil Anderson, I would think that somewhere this team should be more overbalanced towards a run.
Right now they have Calvin Thomas in the backfield with Payton. First down Bears. Ball's at their own 38, and they give to Thomas, and he caves in the whole defense and picks up about 5, maybe 7. Randy White was the first man to make contact with 235-pound Calvin Thomas.
Well, you know, the one thing about the Bears is they have a good offensive line. If we look at Randy White there, this is the first year, and since I can remember, that he hasn't been in a Pro Bowl.
8 straight times he was in.
In fact, the Dallas Cowboys this year didn't have one player voted to the Pro Bowl. That's the first. I think it's the first in their history.
That's right. Even back in 1960, they had one man, Jim Doran. Calvin Thomas blasts straight ahead again and into Cowboy territory. Stopped by Bates, but another Bear first down.
They're running right in there on that left side behind Mark Bortz and Jim Covert.
Final scores: Cincinnati all over the Jets, 52-21. Cleveland 47-17. St. Louis beat the Buccaneers. Houston over Buffalo. Kansas City in the playoffs for the first time in 16 years with that victory. Minnesota beat New Orleans. Flutie to Payton. Left side, 2 yards, penalty flag. Randy White to stop. Excuse me.
They have some good battles going down there in that left side. That's the 3rd straight play. They ran in there behind Covert and Bortz against Randy White and Jim Jeffcoat. Let's watch it here in the left side. Boom, they take off, tie into each other, get the movement, get it going backwards. Randy White gets off the block of Bortz. He's able to get in the tackle.
In motion, first down.
That was the other side. Now, that shouldn't happen. They're running to the left, and that was the right guard, Tom Thayer, and the right tackle, Keith Van Horn. See, now they're running to the left. Now, watch the guys up on top. See Van Horn move a little there? Ah, that wasn't bad, though. What the heck?
I don't know about that.
Ah, that's picky. I mean, the guy could just be straightening out his pants or something. To do that, that was just a little wiggle.
Still motion.
Oh, but I mean, you're that big and you get a little wiggle like that, that doesn't even count. That could be a flinch.
Look at the way Hilgenberg holds the ball when he snaps it.
And it has to be one-handed because his left hand is broken.
Flutie upset about something, saying, come on.
I think what they're going to say there is maybe it's what you said when Hilgenberg shifted it from the up to the other thing. He got a penalty last week for that.
Interrupted the 30-second clock. Start over again, no penalty.
Start over again, no penalty.
That meant nothing. That's Hilgenberg there, 63, the cast on his left hand. That jersey way down. You know why it's down so far? He has one of those buttons underneath where the back comes and the front comes and it meets underneath, and he buttons it together.
Looks like it could be painful. Payton around the right side. Out of bounds in front of the Dallas bench. Hegman and Lockhart.
Yeah, you can always tell what you think about a center when you pull him. Very few teams pull their center. See, Hilgenberg snapped the ball one-handed, broken hand. He can't hold with the left hand, you know that. So he has to do all his holding with the right hand. So he gets the push and the hold with the right hand, protecting the broken left hand. But Mike Webster of Pittsburgh is one of those other centers that will pull on occasion.
Well, they got to be quick, obviously. Second down and 11. Anderson on the move. Flutie gets it out to Anderson. He skipped away from one Cowboy. And Neil Anderson hurdles into Cowboy territory, tripped up by Mike Hegman. He leaves some bodies along the way.
And he's going to, in a career, going to leave a lot of bodies along the way. I think that's one of the things that people have missed, and even Mike Ditka said it. He said all the talk about Jim McMahon being injured and will he play or not play, Doug Flutie being signed, will he play or not play, Steve Fuller, Mike Tomczak, the whole quarterback thing. He said they've missed a little. We're getting Neil Anderson in there, and we're getting Thomas and Sanders and doing some different things that are going to be pretty good.
And don't forget Gentry, who's certainly a weapon, too. Cowboys showing a big rush. Then they back off. Flutie comes out of there. Flag down. Flutie on the scramble. Hit down by Bates for a loss of perhaps 2 or 3. The third sack of the day by the Dallas defense, but a flag down at the beginning of the play. Against the Bears.
Decline. 4th down.
Mike Ditka is not one to hide his feelings.
No, he isn't. But he's dressing better.
Yeah. So Maury Buford goes back for his third punt. Banks back deep for the Cowboys. Fair catch at the 15. And the fans don't like that choice. A 31-yard punt by Buford. And the Cowboys will take over at their own 15-yard line, trailing by 14.
Merry Christmas from the people at Miller High Life.
Pasadena, another Super Bowl, and I'm out for the season. No Miracle Whip. I can handle it.
A sandwich? Even McMahon's isn't a sandwich without the tangy zip of Miracle Whip salad dressing.
Whoa, things are looking up.
The Bears 14, Dallas nothing. Pat Summerall, John Madden on Christmas Day. CBS Sports presents a full lineup. 12 Eastern. It starts with the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan against Patrick Ewing and the New York Knicks. Then at 2:30 Eastern Time, the John Hancock Sun Bowl. Washington against Alabama. Crimson Tide's 39th bowl appearance.
You know that Alabama, Ray Perkins, the head coach back there, this could be his last game at Alabama. There's a rumor that he's going to be the new head coach at Tampa Bay next year.
They all deny it.
Well, you have to deny it before you go to a bowl game.
But it is a possibility. Down goes Pallor in the arms of Richard Dent. He just started to look up.
There's another guy who's mad that he didn't make the Pro Bowl. Maybe he'll make it today. This will be for all madness. Too late for the Pro Bowl, but Dent with plays like this, did you see him on 2-A? He started upside, then he brought his left hand in, then he went inside. Started him up the field, and banged him to the outside and made the move inside.
He is quick.
That's an all-pro rush there.
2nd and 20. Pallor has Walker and Dorsett behind him. Hampton moved, got back. Pallor in motion. Pallor hands off to Dorsett, and Dorsett's got some room. One more tackle, and he could have been off for another record.
You know what that play reminded me of? Remember a few years ago, the same positions, the last game of the season against the Minnesota Vikings? Tony Dorsett ran that play 100 yards. And they only had 10 men in the field, but it was a draw play.
Just
off
like
the goal line. Same play, same size. But they didn't tackle him out here. They missed him, and he ran the length of the field.
That's why I said he could have been off for another record, although that wouldn't have been 99 yards, but the other one was. It did look just like that, though.
Well, what Tom Landry thought a few years ago, we were in the same position. Let's run this play.
That year, they made the playoffs. This year, they won't. First down. They do get some breathing room, and Pallor to Sherrard, who hangs on. And that'll be another first down. Richardson on the stop. A gain of 11. 6:15 left to play in the first half, and the Bears lead it 14-0. start from their own 37-yard line. 1st and 10. Walker. Left side, a yard. William Perry in the middle of the pile.
Well, and Dan Hampton was right there, too. Sometimes they move Hampton over the center, which they did on that play. Now, that really gives you a load in that middle. Watch Hampton. He's over the center. Perry's right next to him. Now, how do you run between those two guys? Perry starts inside, Hampton starts outside, and they converge. Boom. And you got to go through it. You know, remember like that thing in the fun house? Two things go around like this, and you got to try and go through it? Hard.
That doesn't sound like a fun house. Hampton back in there again over the middle. Valor ducks, or tries to duck away, does finally get away. Runs away from Perry and scrambles out of bounds in front of the Cowboy bench. After all that dancing, a gain of 3.
Watch out, this is going to be a stunt here in the middle. See, Perry's coming inside. Hampton is going outside. Hampton has him. Valor escapes him, gets to the outside. Now watch Perry come jogging down that line of scrimmage. He was going pretty good. He let up there a little at the end, but he made Valor run that ball and get out of bounds. I'll tell you, for a big guy, you know, for a big, heavy guy, he moves pretty well.
You think he had it turned on?
No, he had it turned up about halfway is all, not turned on all the way.
Third down. Bears on a blitz. Valor to Tony Hill. That'll be enough for a first. Nesty Jackson, the defender, but a gain of 9. The diving catch by Tony Hill.
One of the things that the Cowboys are trying to do is work on Vesty Jackson out here. Of course, we know that when he ran an in the time before, Jackson got the interception. That time, Tony Hill did the same thing. Let Jackson play that inside, and then he ran it out on him.
First down, Cowboys. Right at midfield, they trailed 14-0 to the Super Bowl champion Bears. Valor back to the other side. But Herschel Walker, he's up and rolling. Well conceived. Walker fell down, still made the catch. Fensick made the stop, but a gain of 7.
You know, what a game Herschel Walker had last week. Remember, 292 yards. Here, this is a trick play. Roll right, screen back left. Roll all the way out to the numbers, throw it all the way back to the left with the line out in front on a screen pass. You know, had that been a real good pass, they had pretty good blocking out of there. That could have been a bigger play.
Second down and 3. Walker did a remarkable job to catch it and then get back into the action. Fensick came up, jumped, and the flags again come flying.
Hey, this Bear defense has kept Walker pretty much under control today. He's had 3 catches for 29 yards and 4 carries for only 3 yards.
False start, number 68.
False start. Crawford curves, number 68.
Well, this is a good defensive line, tough guys, and he's playing against Steve McMichael, and, you know, you want to get every little advantage you can. That'll be 2 big old hogs down there.
Oh, yeah.
You get Crawford Kerr going against Steve McMichael.
They know about pickup trucks.
Yeah, those are 2 tough guys that'll wear a cap and
Muddy feet.
Yep.
Second down. Valor has to take off with it and does. Stopped by Fensick. A gain of 4. That'll bring up a 3rd down situation. Just under 3.5 minutes left first half.
Tom Landry giving the play to Danny White, who was signaling in. Steve Valor. A lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
One of them was like he was eating. You see the one that goes to the mouth.
Thought he was taking some kind of tablet.
Yeah. But see, they have to include the formation and any motion and the play and the pass pattern. I would think all that stuff has to be a pass play.
certainly looks like it. With Renfro in the game, they are in a shotgun. Dent is away from the blockers and down in the arms of William Perry goes Pallur. Dent and Perry, the third sack.
Yeah, well, Perry's going to get pressed. It was Dent that did it. Watch this. Dent's going to come from here. He makes Pallur step up. When Pallur steps up, he steps right in here to the fridge. But Dent is the first guy. He's the top guy coming from the outside. Right there, he's free. He makes him step up. He steps up right into 72. That's what they call flushing out.
Tough
Dent
pressure.
flushed him out, and Perry picked up what was left.
Right into the refrigerator. Lou Barnes back deep for the Bears. Saxon to punt. Good high kick to Barnes. He will field it at his own 9. And there quickly, Jesse Penn and Johnny Holloway down to knock him out of bounds. William Perry. Wonder what size that jersey is. 72?
Well, it's industrial strength. And, you know, being a big guy, what happens to you, Pat? You get that industrial strength material in there, and it tends to shrink up on you when they wash it.
Yeah.
I've noticed that's the thing, you know, that is shrinking up on the fridge a little as the season goes on. Although I think his blue one, this one, I think is bigger than the white one. I think the white one has shrunk more than this one.
You think that the jerseys shrink more than he grows?
No, that's not. No, as a big guy, you always do that. Your clothes always shrink. You never gain.
True. Pitch back to Suey by Bates. A gain of 4. That'll be the notification that there are only 2 minutes remaining in the first half. And the Bears lead the Cowboys 14-0. 2 minutes remain in the first half. The Bears lead the Cowboys 14-0 as you look up through that now famous hole in the roof at the Slice Blimp. And don't forget, coming up at halftime, Brent and Irv with scores and highlights from around the league. And the playoff picture is somewhat clearer now. Second and 6. Pat Summerall, John Madden. And we're at Texas Stadium. Doug Flutie at quarterback for the Bears with Walter Payton and Matt Suey behind him. Flutie with time. The middle. Moorhead. Fellows and Hegman wrapped around Emory Moorhead. 14-yard gain, Bear first down.
You know, I think that was an interesting thing, Pat, where people say Flutie being too small, and you don't throw over guys. Watch him how you throw between lanes. You see it there? You don't throw over anyone. You just find an open lane, and that's where you throw.
On first down, Flutie goes back again. Flushed out of the pocket, gets away from Jeffcoat. Chased by White, incomplete. In the direction of Ortego. Covered by Everson Wall.
I think that's the thing. You know, people are saying that you know, that he's too short, he can't see over. No quarterbacks show over. Here's what he's done. He's had 15 pass plays. Because of the rush and trying to find a lane, though, he's had to leave the pocket 6 times. He left 6 times, and of those 6, he got the ball up. He threw 4 of them. One was a big one to the tight end, Tim Reitman, and then he was sacked 2 times. So just about half the time that he goes back to pass, he's being flushed out of there.
1:21 left to play in the first half. Bears leading 14-0. They got the ball at their own 28. Rudy again retreats the pass. Trying to throw a screen pass to Payton. Flutie off on the move, and he's quick. Doug Flutie down at the 47-yard line. First down, Bears, a 19-yard scramble and a timeout signaled for by Doug Flutie. He gets it all the way up to the 47-yard line. First down, Bears, a minute, 5 seconds left to play. They have 2 timeouts remaining. 14-0, Bears over Dallas. Minute 5 left, first half. Bears have 2 timeouts now. What's their strategy, John?
Well, I think the thing that they have with the 2 timeouts, they have plenty of time. They can still run the ball. They can throw the ball and throw it inside and take the timeout. because they have the 2. So I think the first thing you think of when you're here at midfield is get the ball down to the 30. In other words, pick up 20 yards first to get you a field goal. Then when you get that, then you go for the touchdown.
Keith Van Horn, one of the outstanding offensive linemen for the Bears, limped over to the sideline. So he's out of the lineup right now. Place taken by Bortz, I believe. Payton batted it in the air. Becker, I beg your pardon, took his place. Payton batted it up and came down with it after a gain of 5. Van Horn back in the game now.
Well, the Bears are going without a huddle here. The Cowboys had about 20 guys on the field. They just got them off. They're down to 11.
Now Flutie comes out of the pocket again. Fires upfield, incomplete, and the flag goes down. Vince Albritton hammered Flutie.
Albritton really teed off on Flutie, and that's going to be a 15-yard penalty. Watch him here. Flutie's corner there. He throws the ball sidearm. Albritton tees off on him. The referee, Freddie Wyatt, was right on top of that. Threw the flag.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, hit to the head. 46.
And again, the reason is, once the quarterback starts out like that, he's a runner. But what the referee called was the hit to the head. In other words, he throws the ball, and he called him for the hit to the head, not the late hit.
So that's the first down. Stops the clock. By the way, it was Paul Blair who had replaced Van Horn. Van Horn is back now. Flutie is okay. Back in the huddle, calling the play. Moorhead comes out.
The Bears have a little indecision here. They had 13 guys on. They finally got Stewie and Moorhead out.
Flutie's got to hurry. The 30-second clock down to 4 seconds now. They'll get the play off. Flutie out of the pocket again. End zone open is Gault. Touchdown. That's what a Flutie can do for you. He can buy that time.
Well, that's a good combination. A quarterback who can buy a time and the speed of Willie Gault.
The Bears lead at 20-0. Remember, last year here was 44-0 Bears, and now it's going to be, if Butler's good, 21-0. Fuller holding. Butler for the extra point. Here comes the yellow flag again.
Looks like the Cowboys moved. You know, this used to be a free penalty where the defense could just tee off. Now it's not anymore. It goes on to the kickoff. Because, see, Butler won't take it. He's practiced from the ball being spotted on the 2 and the holder back 7 yards. So that's a 9-yard thing for him. A 9 and then the 10, a 19-yard. So he doesn't want that penalty, doesn't want half the distance. So they just leave the ball right there on the 2.
And they'll get the penalty on the kickoff. Butler for the extra point to make it 21-0. And good, and it's 21-0. The Bears over Dallas. Here's what did it.
This is what Flutie can do. By the time he stalks back, he looks, he feels the pressure, although he really had pretty good protection. Now he's able to come out to the left side. Now he can see the whole field. And this is what he sees. Okay, now watch while he's scrambling. Gault just starts. Then he's able to come across the field. Then because he's scrambling, he goes back, and he gets all the way behind the defense and into the end zone. But see, the thing that Flutie could do by not staying in the pocket, by getting outside, that gave him a full vision.
Flutie's second touchdown pass of the day. The other a 58-yarder to Neil Anderson. That 33 yards to Willie Gault. And Walter Payton got the other one. And so the Bears lead 21-0. They'll get a week off, and then they'll play a playoff game in 2 weeks at Soldier Field.
And I'll tell you, those teams that start talking about the Giants this and the Giants that, you better not count this team out.
The Bears or the 49ers. But next week we'll be at RFK. And don't count the Redskins out or the Rams, whom they'll face. And that's where John Madden and I will be next week. Butler to kick off. What happened to the penalty? He's still at the 35.
They forgot.
Butler's kick is a good one to Lavette at the 3. To the 26, maybe. And again. Kemper square. Cowboy offensive unit comes on the field. Steve Diassi involved with somebody.
But you know, you always get your most emotional players on the special teams. Guys like Steve Diassi, those are always the guys, you know, those feisty, fighty guys like that. So you find that, you know, it's been a frustrating year for the Cowboys. You get guys like that, and there's always a little extra going on.
Cowboys start at their own 27. First and 10, 17 seconds remain in the first half. Lure to Dorsett. Left side and nothing. And that should take care of the first half. Dorsett up to make the stop. They'll head for the locker room.